Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English Spark. I'm excited you're here. Today, we'll use a snowy mystery detective story to boost your English listening and speaking skills, build confidence, and speak more fluently. As you follow the frozen pool mystery to the final showdown, you'll pick up natural expressions, new vocabulary, and native intonation. I'll pause to highlight key phrases and give you a chance to repeat. Ready to sharpen your ears and warm up your voice? Let's begin and light up your English journey. Chapter 1. Midwinter. Snowbrook greets me with a hush, the kind of hush that falls over a mountain valley after a night of heavy snow. Even the lodgepole pines seem to hold their breath, their branches sagging under powdery white blankets. My tires crunch to a stop outside the Frostguard Hotel, and for a moment I sit in the driver's seat, letting the engine tick down and the heater's last gust fade. The windshield is a window into another world, one where pastel pink morning light strokes the ridgelines and a lone chairlift dangles motionless above the empty slopes. It's breathtaking, like the cover of a travel magazine, until I remember why I'm here. The call came at 5 a.m. while I was still buried beneath blankets that weren't mine, spare linen in a studio apartment I haven't bothered to decorate since Alex's funeral 2 months ago. Captain Marilyn Stone's voice cut through the darkness. "Riley, I need you in Snowbrook, now." 22-year-old woman Emily Carter, found in the Frostguard's indoor pool. Local chief thinks it's homicide. A beat of silence, then her softer register. "This assignment is good for you. Fresh air, a clean case. Take it." She didn't have to add what she was really saying. Get out of Denver before your grief swallows you whole. So I packed in a daze, jeans, thermal shirts, the navy wool coat Alex once called my storm armor. My service pistol slipped into its shoulder holster with a familiar weight, followed by Alex's photo, creased, edges frayed, from my bedside table. When the cab dropped me at the motor pool garage, I signed out a rental SUV, but I couldn't bring myself to leave my own car behind. The Bel Air was Alex's weekend project, a rust-flecked 1960 relic with red paint that still glints in the sun. I drove that instead, the heater wheezing and the radio stuck on static as the city unspooled behind me. Now, outside the Frostguard, I kill the engine and the silence presses in. I wrap my scarf tighter, shove the door open, and step into air, cold enough to sting my lungs. The hotel's facade is all timber beams and frosted glass, humming with the low rumble of generators. When I push through the revolving door, the lobby swallows me in a rush of cedar-scented warmth. Oak paneling gleams beneath chandeliers fashioned to resemble snowflakes, A stone fireplace crackles near leather armchairs where two tourists in neon ski jackets sip hot chocolate, their laughter subdued, wary. News travels fast in a town this small. At the reception desk, a bellhop spots my badge and stiffens. His name tag reads Evan. Freckles dot his nose, and he can't be more than 19. "Detective Jones?" he whispers, as though speaking louder might conjure the killer. I nod. He hands me a slim folder, preliminary incident report, room keys, contact numbers. His hands shake. "The pool's on the top floor. Chief Harper's waiting." I head for the elevator, the folder tucked beneath my arm, reading as I walk. Emily Carter, 22, journalism student from Berkeley, here since Monday with two friends, Lisa Nguyen and Mark Chen. Time of discovery, 5:47 a.m. by Lisa. Water temperature frigid, pool cover retracted, bruise noted at base of skull. No, forced entry. No personal journal located. My thumb lingers on that last line. Journalists guard their notebooks like gold. If hers is missing, someone took it. The elevator doors part with a ding, and I step into a corridor that smells faintly of chlorine and eucalyptus. Chief Tom Harper waits near a bank of towel cubbies. He's shorter than I expected, late 50s, mustache frosted gray, eyes red from too little sleep. We exchange curt greetings. He gives me a plastic evidence bag containing a silver fountain pen. "Found poolside," he says, voice low. Initials EC engraved near the clip. No notebook, though. I examine the pen. A tiny smear of something dark near the nib. Ink? Or blood diluted by chlorinated water? Harper clears his throat. "We've sealed the area, but guests are restless. Board of Tourism's calling every hour." Beyond him, the pool glitters beneath skylights, the surface eerily still except for pale ripples cast by the ventilation fans overhead. My reflection floats there, coat collar up, eyes ringed with fatigue, and I imagine Emily's body drifting just beneath, hair spreading like dark ink in the water. A chill claws up my spine. I sink to a crouch by the pool's edge, fingertips resting on the cool tile. And for a heartbeat, I swear I can hear Alex's voice. "Take it slow, Riley. Let the scene talk." I inhale, steady. The scene is already speaking. A pen without a notebook, a bruise without a struggle, a town teetering on the brink of panic. Somewhere amid the hush of falling snow and the hiss of the heating vents, a killer is counting on Snowbrook's silence. I intend to make sure they won't stay silent for long. Chapter 2. Snowbrook. Leaving the muted splashes of pool water and chlorine behind, I exit the frost guard and step once more into icy air that bites the inside of my nose. Snowbrook at mid-morning looks like a postcard, log storefronts trimmed. In pine garland, crisp banners advertising powder days ahead, and a string of cafes already pulling lattes for skiers. Yet beneath the charm I feel the town bristle, as though every closed door hides someone whispering about the girl in the pool. My boots crunch along Main Street while I memorize the lay of the land. On the left, Alpenhaus Bakery churns out cardamom, rolls. On the right, Copper Mountain Outfitters props neon rental skis in a crooked row. Farther up, the steeple of St. Bridget's Chapel glints in newborn sun. Picture perfect, except I can see the vacancies. Benches are empty, lift lines non-existent, rental racks still full. A homicide on opening weekend is poison for a resort town. The police station crouches at the end of the street, a squat stone building boasting a brass plaque. Snowbrook Marshals, Office, Estier 1909. Inside, the heater rumbles like an old bear. I stamp snow from my boots and follow a corridor lined with black and white photographs. Avalanche crews from the 1940s. The first ski patrol in leather boots. A famous gold strike. Portrait of founding prospectors. At the last door, Chief Tom Harper waves me in. His office is smaller than I imagined. Half paperwork, half mounted elk heads, everything smelling faintly of old coffee and leather polish. He gestures to the single chair across from his desk. I lower myself, coat still dusted white. "Appreciate you coming, Detective Jones," he says, tugging at his mustache. "Captain Stone says you're the best she's got." I offer a thin smile. "I'm flattered, Chief, but right now I'm just the one with cold feet and more questions than answers." He nods, sliding a manila envelope toward me. Preliminary. Autopsy notes from Dr. Patel, our coroner. Cause of death listed as asphyxiation by drowning, but the contusion at the occipital ridge suggests blunt force. I flip through crisp pages. Water in lungs confirmed. Timestamp estimated between 10:30 and 11:15 last night. Bruise shape consistent with an elbow or corner edge. Forceful, but not catastrophic. Enough to stun her, topple her into the water, keep her under. Harper rolls up his sleeves. Press is already circling. I've had 3 Denver channels call. If they smell blood in the snow, they'll turn us into primetime tragedy. Let's give them nothing until we have something, I answer. He exhales, then points to a whiteboard. Behind him. Names scrawled in green marker: Emily Carter, Lisa Nguyen, Mark Chen, suite numbers, timeline, an arrow marking missing journal. I approach to study it closer. Next to 10 RPM, he's written, "Hotel security camera offline, firmware update." Of course it was. Emily's parents landed an hour ago, Harper says. They'll drive up once the roads are plowed. I'd like her identification handled with tact. I'll meet them personally, I promise. My gaze pulls to another scribble. Local blogger queries. Blogger? He grimaces. Kid named Theo Morris runs Snowbrook Insider. He posted about unexplained police presence at dawn. Already has hundreds of shares. Tourists are spooked. Cancellation started before sunrise. Great. An unrestrained rumor mill. I jotted in my pocket notebook. Harper leans back, chair groaning. Be straight with me, detective. Does this feel like a local? I meet his eyes. Too early. Could be a tourist who got drunk and violent. Could be someone who followed her here. But the missing journal suggests forethought. I snap the notebook shut. Whatever Emily uncovered, someone believed it was worth silencing. A knock interrupts. Sergeant Lena Ruiz sticks her head in. Chief Detective Lisa Nguyen and Mark Chen are waiting in interview B. Harper turns to me. Your call. I'll take them now, I say, pocketing the autopsy file. Ruiz leads me down a hallway smelling of copier toner to a small interview room. Two young faces look up. Lisa with dark circles under her eyes, Mark pale, jaws clenched. A styrofoam cup of untouched cocoa steams in front of them. I sit, setting my recorder on the table. This is just us talking. Breathe. Take your time. Their story largely matches the report. Emily left the suite at 9:30 with her journal tucked under one arm, said she needed quiet to write. Lisa dozed. Off around 10:15, Mark was editing GoPro footage on his laptop. At 11, Lisa realized Emily hadn't returned. They found her at 11:07. No screaming, no splashing, just still water and a floating body. I prod gently. Anyone following Emily lately? Strange flirtations in the bar? Someone too curious about what she was writing? Lisa chews her lip, shakes her head. Mark hesitates. There was a guy at the base lodge 2 nights ago, he admits. Early 30s, heavy parka, sat alone at the bar. He kept staring at Emily while she scribbled in her notebook. When she noticed, he looked away. You speak with him? I ask. No. He left before we paid the check. I note the description. Male, 30, 35, 5'10"-ish, dark parka, no lift pass visible. Another ghost in the snow. Interview finished. Harper finds me outside the room, coat already buttoned. Where to next? He asks. Library, I answer. If Emily was chasing a story, the local stacks will know. He hands me a set of keys. Unmarked SUV. Be careful, roads are slick. I step outside again. Sky now steely gray, faint flakes beginning their slow descent. As I drive, the tires slip slightly at each turn. reminding me the mountain accepts no mistakes. My thoughts drift to Emily's missing journal, to a stranger at a bar, to the bruise that changed a vacation into a homicide. Halfway up Pinecone Avenue, I pull over, engine idling. Beyond the windshield, the slopes rise silent, chairlifts, swaying like empty swings. I close my eyes and inhale. "Take it slow, Riley," Alex would say. "Let the scene talk." I picture his grin, the scar above his eyebrow, and let the memory steady my pulse. When I open my eyes, the snowfall has found its rhythm, soft, relentless, erasing footprints in minutes. Somewhere beneath that hush lies a motive, a weapon, and a name. I shift into drive. The library's lights glow ahead like a beacon, and I push toward them, determined to pry Snowbrook's secrets from its silent, snow-draped streets. Chapter 3. The Frost Guard Hotel. I return to the Frost Guard just after noon, snowflakes swirling like confetti around the eaves. From the street, the hotel looks untouched by trouble. Gingerbread balconies, icicle lights blinking cheerful Morse code. But inside, the air has shifted. Conversations hush as I pass, and guests study their boots as though they might find answers in the laces. Grief and gossip make quick companions. The manager, a rail-thin man named Colin Hart, meets me at the front desk. His voice quivers beneath forced politeness. "Detective Jones, our sincerest sympathies. Anything you need, the staff will cooperate." He ushers me past the lobby, through a service corridor that smells of bleach and oversteamed linens, to the elevator reserved for housekeeping carts. As we ascend, he taps a clipboard. "We've pulled yesterday's duty logs. Only 2 employees entered the pool level after 8 p.m. A maintenance tech resetting the dehumidifier at 8:30, and a housekeeper swapping towel bins at 9. He closes the folder, eyes pleading. "They're reliable kids. Been with us for seasons." The 5th floor doors open to hush, plush carpets, frosted windows showing nothing but snow. On my left stands room 512, Emily Carter's. Crime scene tape flutters against the doorframe, and an officer on duty nods. Hart passes me a master key. "Take all the time you need." Inside, the suite is frozen mid-vacation. A half-unzipped ski bag spills colorful thermals. A boarding pass to Denver peeks from a pocket. 2 beds sit side by side. Emily's sheets turned down neatly, Lisa's blanket tossed in a restless heap. The nightstand between them is empty except for a dead phone charger and a paperback novel, its spine cracked midway. No journal. I slip on nitrile gloves and begin a slow circuit. In the wardrobe, I find Emily's coat, the one Lisa said she wore to the pool. Its outer fabric is still faintly damp at the hem, melted snow, not pool water. In the right pocket, I retrieve a crumpled lift ticket receipt timed 9:26 p.m. and, folded around it, a small locker token stamped ESPA, guest. Pocket evidence bagged. I kneel beside Emily's travel pack. Among pens, highlighters, and protein bars sits a second fountain pen, same make as the silver one from poolside, but this barrel is teal and unblemished. A knock rattles the door. Housekeeping supervisor Marisol Vega stands there, nervously twisting her key ring. "Detective, you asked to speak with anyone who cleaned 512? I motion her in. She recounts routine. Fresh towels at 3 p.m., turn down at 7. Emily was in the room, headphones on, writing. She was sweet, Marisol says. Gave me her last pastry because she said it would go stale. Then Marisol pauses, brow pinching. There was a man in the hallway later, 9:15 maybe? Tall, dark ski parka, carried a tablet like he worked IT. I asked if he needed help, but he said he was updating firmware and kept walking toward the staff elevator. Firmware. Same excuse hotel security used for the offline cameras. I note the time. Marisol signs the statement and hurries out. Next stop, the lounge bar on the mezzanine. Mid-afternoon lull leaves only a bartender drying glasses and a pair of retirees sharing fondue. Dim Edison bulbs cast amber pools across. Polished walnut. I slide onto a stool, flash my badge. Looking for a man who drank alone 2 nights ago. Early 30s, black parka, no lift pass. The bartender, Gus, thumbs his mustache. Yeah, I remember him. Ordered rye neat, tipped well, asked for a view of the pool deck. Gus nods toward the panoramic window behind the bar. Perfect. Line of sight to the glass ceiling that shelters the water. Last night he sat there again, but bailed before I poured his drink. Left cash in a napkin. He hands me the folded square. A print of hotel Wi-Fi credentials scribbled over with 2 words. 10:45 steam. Steam? Could be the spa sauna adjacent to the pool. Elevator again, this time to the rooftop spa. The hallway reeks of eucalyptus. A receptionist confirms Emily booked no treatments. But yes, guests can access the steam room until midnight. I step inside. Tiled walls, benches slick with condensation, visibility barely an arm's length. Easy place to ambush someone. One shove and a stunned victim could drown in silence 3 doors away. Back in the corridor, a janitor fits a new light bulb overhead. I notice scuffs on the baseboard. Fresh, white against dark varnish, just outside the maintenance stairwell. I crouch, photograph, bag a chipped fragment. Could be from a boot edge scraping during a struggle. As I exit, Hart intercepts me, perspiring, despite the cold. Detective, the governor's office called. They're hosting a tourism summit here next month. Very concerned about optics. He lowers his voice. And, press is requesting a statement. Tell them nothing beyond. Ongoing investigation, I say, brushing snow from my shoulders. And tighten security. Check-in logs, keycard data, everything from 8 last night till dawn. He nods, scurrying off. I pause at the elevator bank, pulse thrumming. In 3 hours, I've collected a phantom IT tech, a missing notebook, a call-off drink with a message, and scuff marks that might map a murderer's path. Outside, the storm thickens, drifting against mullioned windows like powdered sugar. Pretty veneer, rotten core. Snowbrook doesn't know it yet, but its secrets are thawing, and I plan to watch the melt. I pull out Emily's teal fountain pen, turning it end over end. 2 pens, one clean, one blood-flecked, and an invisible journalist whose words frightened. Someone badly enough to kill. Somewhere between the steam room and the frozen silence of that pool, motive met opportunity. I'm getting closer. I can feel it in the way my breath fogs the glass, each exhale thinning, showing me what lies beyond. Chapter 4. Conversation with Mark. The snowfall thickens to a curtain by the time I circle back to interview room B. Through the narrow glass pane, I see Mark Chen alone at the table, thumbs turning a disposable coffee cup until its cardboard sleeve has nearly shredded. Lisa has been released to the lodge infirmary, panic attacks and exhaustion. So whatever answers remain tonight rest with Mark. I draw one deep breath, then step inside, closing the door with a soft click that still makes him flinch. "Detective?" he says, voice thin. The overhead fluorescents bleach the color from his cheeks, leaving him waxy and gray. He's 22, but looks younger in this light. Round shoulders, dark hair falling into his eyes. I switch off the harsh fixture, leaving us with a warmer desk lamp. Small kindnesses matter. They keep people talking. I sit across from him, sliding my recorder between us. Mind if I start that again? He shakes his head. Tape whirs. I fold my hands. Mark, I know you've been through hell since last night, but every detail you can give me, every moment Emily spent writing, every stranger who watched her too closely, could help catch who did this. So let's slow it down and walk through the whole trip. He exhales, nodding. We arrived last Monday, 8-day package, student discount. Emily booked it. She loved Snowbrook, called it her thinking place. First day was just skiing. Second day, she vanished into the library for hours, said she was panning for gold in the archives. Lisa and I teased her, told her real gold was on the Black Diamond runs. A faint smile flickers, then his eyes pool again. Did she ever show you what she found? I ask. No. She'd joke it was top secret, but I caught glimpses. Old newspapers, land survey maps, minutes from town council meetings. He rubs his temples. She was chasing some corruption story, I think. Said, if I connect the dots, it'll blow open bigger than Aspen's water rights scandal. That rings a distant bell. Aspen, 2019, permits Forge to divert river water for a luxury spa. I jot a note. Did she name anyone? A company? A public official? Not outright. He pauses. But 2 nights ago, in the lounge, she pointed across the room and whispered, "That guy works for the people I'm writing about." I looked, saw the man in the black parka you asked about. Medium height, angular jaw, sat hunched over a tablet. Emily took her journal and marched right to the bar so she could keep an eye on him. I recall Gus's comment, the abandoned rye, the napkin scrawl of Wi-Fi codes. Did Emily confront him? No. She just kept writing, sipping ginger beer. When he noticed her staring back, he left. I lean back, letting silence coax more. Mark straightens the coffee cup sleeve again, then blurts, "Detective, have you found her journal?" I meet his gaze. Not yet. We recovered 2 fountain pens, one she owned, one left at the pool. No notebook. He looks gutted, as though I've confessed a personal failure. She guarded that thing like it was radioactive. Used a different ink color for every source. Blue for newspapers, green for interviews, red for hunches. If someone took it, he trails off. They'd know everything she knew. Who else knew about the journal? Only Lisa and me, maybe? Emily's professor back at Berkeley. She was entering that West Coast investigative reporting competition. First prize is a paid fellowship with the Chronicle. He swallows. She joked that winning would be her ticket to exposing the world. I nod slowly. Prize money, public exposure, plenty of motive for a powerful target to silence her. Tell me about last night, I prompt. Minute by minute. He inhales, plates the timeline carefully. At 9:15, Emily was in their suite, packing a tote. Journal, silver pen, towel, flip-flops. She told them she'd steam, swim, then scribble. At 9:20, he and Lisa headed to the gaming lounge downstairs. Mario Kart tournament, free pizza. We lost track of time, he admits. Lisa went up at 10:50 to change for bed. I stayed to finish my bracket. He bites his lip. When her scream came over the intercom, everything froze. So you never left the lounge between 9:30 and 11? Not once. Plenty of people can vouch. He meets my eyes, desperate. I swear to you, detective, I'd never hurt her. Emily was my friend. The pause says more. Perhaps more than a friend. Unspoken. I register it but don't press. Grief is messy enough. I shift. Mark, earlier you said Emily was panning for gold in the archives. Did she mention which year's council minutes? He nods. 1996 to 2000. Old land transfer approvals. She was looking for patterns. Same signatures appearing on multiple deals. He fishes a phone from his hoodie, thumb hovering above the lock screen. She texted me a photo, columns of names circled in red, town trustees, state land office reps. He opens the gallery and slides the phone across. A grainy image shows a photocopied table, dates, parcel numbers, signatures. One name repeats, L. Miles, next to a rubber-stamped approval line. Under the photo, Emily's caption reads, "Find out where this guy is now. Follow the money. L. Miles." My pulse kicks. Governor Lucas Miles sat on the State Lands Commission in the late 90s, long before politics vaulted him into the governor's mansion. If Emily traced a direct line from resort developers to Miles's old approvals, she'd indeed struck gold. Dirty, dangerous gold. I hand the phone back. Mark, can you forward that to me? He nods, taps rapidly. A ping hits my inbox. Evidence, fragile as silk but loaded. I click the recorder off. One last thing, I say. Around 9:30, housekeeping saw a man in an IT jacket heading toward the staff elevator. Said he mentioned a firmware update. Any idea who that could be? Mark's forehead creases. Actually, Emily chatted with an IT consultant in the lobby earlier this week. He offered to fix her laptop after it glitched on hotel Wi-Fi. She thanked him but refused. She hated people touching her tech. Maybe same guy? Remember a name? He sighs. Badge said Silvercom Networks. Tall, olive-skinned, faint scar down his chin. He shudders. I didn't like the way he hovered. Scar down the chin. One small piece, but R&I can work miracles with less. I stand and tuck the recorder into my coat. Mark, you've helped more than you know. Officer Ruiz will escort you back to your room. Try to rest and keep your phone on. He rises, eyes rimmed with red. Detective, will you find who did this? I steady my voice. Yes. And when we do, they won't hurt anyone else. Outside the interview suite, the hallway feels colder. I lean against the cinder block wall, thumb the message from Mark until the screen dims. Emily was onto something explosive. A former land commissioner turned governor, a developer hungry for property, a totemic notebook that's vanished. Somewhere in this hotel, or maybe buried beneath inches of fresh snow, the journal waits. Ink, frozen mid-sentence. I pocket the phone, square my shoulders, and head for the records room. Tonight, I'll run every background check on Silvercom, networks, and dig into Lucas Miles's financial disclosures. Snowbrook may sleep under a soft white blanket, but the ground beneath it is hot with secrets, and I can feel the thaw beginning with every step I take. Chapter 5. Seeking Motives. Dawn creeps over Snowbrook in pale lavender bands, but the town's silence feels heavier than ever, like the sun itself is unwilling to intrude on grief. I have barely slept. My night dissolved into database crawls on Silvercom networks and archived campaign filings with Governor Lucas Miles's signature splashed across questionable land reassignment bills. Nothing conclusive yet. Just smoke curling around the same name Emily circled in red. I need fire. And the fastest way to find it is to learn why Emily Carter pushed so hard. At 8:30 a.m., I park outside Pinebrook Medical Center, the only hospital within 50 miles. Its siding is sage green clapboard, meant to look rustic. The smell of antiseptic still escapes the doors. Inside, Chief Harper stands near the reception desk, hat in hand, jaw clenched. "Parents are with Dr. Patel," he murmurs. "Identification. In 5 minutes." We wait in a chapel the size of a broom closet, stained glass pine cones in the window, battery candles flickering. Richard and Elaine Carter enter, hands clasped like climbers on a sheer face. Richard's Stetson trembles in his fingers. Elaine's coat is still dusted with airplane lint. When Dr. Patel quietly confirms their daughter's identity, Elaine muffles a sob against Richard's shoulder. I give them space, staring at the prayer cushions until the room stops spinning. A few minutes later, Richard nods to me, signaling he's ready. We sit at a small bistro table in the cafeteria, untouched, coffee cooling between us. Harper lingers nearby but out of earshot. "I'm Detective Riley Jones," I begin softly. "I'm leading the investigation into your daughter's death. I know how impossible this moment feels, but anything you remember might help me catch. Who did this?" Richard's eyes are red-rimmed but clear. "Emily called on Wednesday," he says, voice gravelly. Sounded excited. Said she'd finally connected the final dot for a piece she was writing. Something about a land deal gone dirty up here in the Rockies. He fishes into his coat pocket and produces a folded index card. She mailed this after that call. Said if anything happened to her, give it to the police. I unfold it carefully. 3 words in block print. Follow the eagle. Beneath, an 8-digit number, maybe an account, maybe GPS coordinates, and a final line. LM, 1998. My pulse ticks upward. Eagle could refer to Eagle County just west of here, or a project code name. LM obviously points to Lucas Miles. The year 1998 matches the council minutes Emily photographed. Elaine, voice barely above a whisper, adds, "She told us she was sitting on an expose that could ruin a man with ambitions far beyond Colorado. Said she'd never felt prouder or more scared. Her hands twist a tissue until it splits. We warned her to be careful. She laughed and said she had friends watching her back. Friends, Lisa and Mark, but they were in the gaming lounge. Someone else must have been watching, or pretending. 2. I slip the card into an evidence envelope. Thank you, I tell them. I promise I'll see this through. Outside, flurries swirl like ash. I phone the station, instruct Sergeant Ruiz to pull every property transfer involving Eagle County between 1996 and 2000, any of them greenlit by a Commissioner L. Miles. While she works, I head for the Snowbrook Public Library, the place Emily called her panning site. The library's cedar facade drips with meltwater. Inside, radiators hiss, and the scent of old paper hangs like incense. The same librarian, Nadia, greets me, eyes widening when she recognizes me. Detective Jones. I heard about Emily. She swallows. How can I help? I show her the index card photo. Did Emily request anything on Eagle County or a corporation called Eagle Ridge Holdings? Nadia's fingers fly across the keyboard. Yes. 2 days ago, she pulled microfilm of the Snowbrook Sentinel from March 1998 and 3 bound ledgers labeled ERC minutes. She also printed an article from the Denver Journal, Governor's Office Announces Wilderness Access Plan. Nadia clicks, brings up a digital copy. I scan the abstract. Commissioner Lucas Miles praises private-public partnership with Greystone Resorts to expand ski infrastructure. The date is 3 weeks after the council minutes Emily flagged. Do you have camera footage of her time here? I ask. Nadia nods, escorts me to a back office where a tiny monitor plays grainy angles of the reading tables. At 2:13 p.m. Wednesday, Emily appears, notebook open, browsing microfilm. At 2:45, a tall man in a parka and baseball cap lingers behind. Her face partially hidden, but the scar under his chin is unmistakable. Silvercom Network scar. He stands for exactly 90 seconds, watching Emily scan pages, before leaving through the rear exit toward the alley. Stomach tight, I take a phone shot of the screen. Back at a study carrel, I sift through the same microfilm reel Emily used. Headlines leap out. Eagle Ridge deal finalized. Environmental groups cry foul. Local ranchers sell for fraction of value. The thread is clear. Greystone got wilderness land dirt cheap after the commission rezoned it. And on the editorial page, a single columnist praises Commissioner Miles as an eagle among hawks, soaring above petty politics. There's Emily's coded clue. I print every relevant frame, then phone Harper. I have motive, I tell him. Emily uncovers that Miles greenlit a land grab for Greystone, probably pocketed kickbacks. She plans to publish. Someone panics. We need Miles's personal accounts and Greystone's nonprofit shells. Already pushed a subpoena request, Harper says. But state AG might stall. Miles has friends. Then we tighten the noose. Elsewhere, I reply. Find the IT contractor with the chin scar. He shadowed Emily in the library and roamed the hotel under false credentials. Run hotel employment records against Silvercom's vendor list. Cross-match scars with DMV photos. Harper whistles. Busy day. Better than another funeral, I mutter. When I step outside, the clouds have torn open to bright blue, sunlight sparking off fresh snow. But it brings no warmth. If anything, the stakes feel colder. Emily's journal is still out there, containing the proof she died for. Her parents trusted me with her last breadcrumb, follow the eagle. I tuck the photocopies under my arm, grit crunching under my boots as I head to the SUV. The mountain air slices through my coat, reminding me that time up here stretches oddly. Slow as snowfall, swift as an avalanche. Somewhere in this pretty postcard town, a killer believes he's buried the truth under drifts of white. He hasn't counted on how quickly snow melts when you put a spotlight on it. Chapter 6. A Famous Face. By mid-afternoon, the highway up to Snowbrook Heights looks more like a luge track than a road. Packed ice, sheer drop on the passenger side, spruce trees casting latticework shadows over blinding snow. I downshift, tires scrabbling for grip, and remind myself celebrity handshakes aren't worth dying for. But Charlotte Dane might be the only person alive who can connect Emily's eagle clue to real names, real money, real danger. Snowbrook Heights is where the platinum crowd winters. Sprawling chalets cut from granite, heated driveways, motion tracking cameras that follow you like watchful birds. Dane's estate perches highest, 3 gables and a glass observatory looking straight across the White Ridge Range. At the gate, a discreet placard reads, "No tours, no photos, respect the forest." A guard in a black parka steps from the booth, hand hovering near an earpiece. I roll down the window and flash my badge. "Detective Jones," I say over the wind. "Ms. Dane is expecting me." He checks a tablet, nods once, waves the gate aside. The drive curls up through old-growth pines until the house appears. a modern lodge of cedar and charred oak, its roof loaded with solar panels. Anemic winter sunlight glints off them like cut glass. I park beside a midnight blue electric SUV, kill the engine, and take in the silence. No ski lift rumble here, only the distant hush of powder settling. Another guard escorts me through a foyer lined with movie posters. Sunset Lounger, Wild Hawthorne, the one that made Dane a household name, Nevada Sky. Aromas of sandalwood and citrus linger in warm air. We pass a living wall of greenery into a sunken lounge where Charlotte Dane sits cross-legged on a slate-gray sofa, mug of rose-colored tea steaming between her palms. Even off camera, she is unmistakable. High cheekbones, eyes the color of late-day sea, black hair swept into a loose knot. She rises. Detective Jones. Her voice is low, every syllable measured. I'm truly sorry you're meeting me under these circumstances. We shake hands. Her grip is sure but cold. She gestures for me to sit opposite, leans forward, elbows on knees. I knew Emily Carter, she begins without prompting. Not well, but well enough to admire her spine. She contacted me last January, curious, about Greystone's land acquisitions. Most people ask for selfies. She asked for council vote transcripts. Dane's lips twitch, half smile, half grimace. I liked her instantly. I set my recorder on the coffee table. Ms. Dane, everything you share may become evidence. I'll protect your privacy where I can, but use what you need. She interrupts. My family knows I tilt at windmills. They're used to the backlash. She turns her neck slightly, revealing a faint, silvered scar beneath her jawline. Thin as a pencil stroke, but unmistakable. Backlash, she repeats dryly. I remember Marisol's story. A man attacking her last year. I nod. Did you ever learn who sent that man? No. Sheriff chalked it up to an overzealous fan. She lifts the mug, sips. But he carried no phone, no ID, and used military-issue gloves. Not exactly autograph material. I inhale. Emily told her parents she'd found a link between Greystone's Eagle Ridge deal and a politician with ambitions far beyond Colorado. We believe that's Governor Lucas Miles. Dane's eyebrows flick upward. I suspected as much. When Miles sat on the State Lands Commission, he sponsored the 1998 rezoning of Eagle Ridge from conservation to recreational use. 48 hours later, Greystone filed exclusive development plans. Coincidence stops there. You have proof? I ask. She stands, walks to a built-in desk, opens a drawer, returns with a slim leather folio. Inside, photocopies, campaign finance ledgers, anonymized bank statements, a ledger page flagged with yellow highlighter. She taps the highlighted line. Greystone Charitable Trust, Consultancy Honorarium, $150,000, payee L. Miles. Pre-election money routed through a Nevada shell the same month Eagle Ridge flipped. I whistle softly. Where did Emily factor in? Emily contacted me 6 weeks ago for the original ledger. I gave her a redacted scan, told her to tread carefully. She said she'd triangulate with county clerk deeds and eyewitness interviews. Dane exhales, eyes glassy. I didn't realize how close she'd flown to the sun. I slide the folio into an evidence bag. Did Emily tell you she'd cornered a source on Miles? Yes. Someone from the inside, former IT vendor. They'd arranged a second interview today, noon, in the hotel lounge. She believed he carried sign-off emails proving Miles ordered Greystone's bid suppression. Dane's knuckles whiten. On the mug. Emily texted me yesterday, 6:18 p.m. Tomorrow decides everything. That was her last message. An IT vendor, the same man with the chin scar. My stomach knots. If he agreed to meet, then vanished, perhaps he never intended to whistle-blow, or someone intercepted him first. Footsteps echo. The guard re-enters, whispers into Dane's ear. Her face pales. She hands me a phone. On the screen, an anonymous text bubble, time-stamped 5 minutes ago. Stay quiet or next time it's your kids. An attached photo shows her 8-year-old twins at their school's sled hill this morning, taken from a distance, yet intimate enough to freeze the blood. Dane covers her mouth. They've never threatened my children. Her voice trembles for the first time. I snap photos of the message, forward them to Harper with a single line. Immediate protective detail for Dane family. Then I pocket the phone, meet her eyes. We'll move your family to safe housing until we have the man behind that text. You have my word. She nods, blinking hard. Take whatever evidence you need, detective. Burn them down. I rise to leave. Snow starts again, fat flakes smearing the glass. Before I reach the door, Dane calls after me. Emily asked me one question that keeps me up at night, she says. What's the difference between a mountain and a monument? I didn't understand. She laughed. A mountain is priceless until someone puts a price on it. A monument is priceless because someone fought to keep it that way. Dane wraps her arms around herself. Make sure Emily's mountain becomes a monument, detective. I step outside into swirling white. As I descend the drive, my phone buzzes. Harper. Trace on Silvercom badge. Belongs to Eddie Wells, contractor with sealed mill justice records. Last pinged hotel Wi-Fi 10:32 p.m. yesterday, then disappeared. Eddie. Wells, chin scar. Likely Miles's cleanup man. I gun the engine, tires spitting slush. The sun is already dipping, shadows stretching like claws across the valley. Tonight I'll requisition U.S. Marshal backups, freeze Wells's accounts, and subpoena Greystone's server farm. But first I have to get Charlotte Dane's family into a safe house. As the estate gates close behind me, I glance in the rearview mirror at the mansion shrinking into the storm. Somewhere between Eagle Ridge and the Frostguard pool, power dressed itself up as progress and convinced estate to look away. Emily tried to strip off the costume. For that, they drowned her. They think snow will bury evidence, that money will muffle truth. Let them think. A storm can also expose, scour, reshape. And tonight a famous face has lent me her spotlight. I intend to aim it straight into the shadows. Chapter 7. Evergreen Pass. Morning breaks crystal clear, the kind of blue that only visits mountains after a blizzard has scoured every particle from the air. Perfect weather for skiing, perfect cover for Greystone resorts to dazzle tourists and hide their sins. Evergreen Pass lies 30 miles south of Snowbrook, and the 2-lane state road that snakes there is newly plowed, glinting like a satin ribbon in the sun. I steer the department's unmarked SUV through switchbacks edged by frost-whitened aspens, my thoughts flicking between names. Eddie Wells, Silvercom Networks, Lucas Miles. One of them hired muscle, one supplied logistics, one signed the check. Which is which hardly matters. They form a single brass knuckle aimed at anyone who threatens their profits. Evergreen's entrance announces itself with choreographed grandeur. A stone archway carved to resemble interlocking skis, banners fluttering. Greystone welcomes you, experience the peak. A uniformed guard motions me forward. I flash a counterfeit reservation QR code Harper whipped up at dawn. It scans green and a gate swings open like theater curtains. Inside sprawls a private empire, chalets cascading down the slope like terraced vineyards, heated cobblestone streets free of slush, gondola cabins glazed in polar bear white. Everything gleams so hard it hurts the eyes. But luxury is loud. Evidence whispers. I park beside a row of Range Rovers and swap my city boots for a rental pair of black diamond skis, props to move invisibly among guests. A smiling attendant clips on my lift pass. Enjoy, Ms. Kessler. Nice alias. Thank you, Harper. Greystone's press office has assigned me a guest services liaison, a perky 20-something named Miranda Chen. She meets me outside the Aspenwood Lodge, clipboard in hand. First time at Evergreen, Miss Kessler? Her voice holds a memorized cadence, each welcome note precisely tuned. First time, I lie, tightening a borrowed helmet. heard nothing but raves. Miranda embarks on a well-practiced tour. Grand atrium with 4-story waterfall, subterranean shopping arcade, conference wing where next month Governor Miles will keynote a sustainable recreation summit. I pretend to gape at everything while noting cameras, blind spots, and a network room door bearing a Silvercom Networks decal behind velvet rope. Firmware updates, indeed. We ride the Evergreen Express gondola to Mid-Mountain Base. Through curved plexiglass, I watch a team of surveyors planting neon stakes along a ridgeline, expansion markers for next season's Black Diamond Run, Miranda chirps. Their presence confirms Greystone's appetite hasn't slowed, despite legal clouds. I pivot. Does Greystone own those forest parcels outright? She beams. Leased from the state for 99 years. A brilliant public-private partnership. Must have taken finesse, I say. Rezoning timberland isn't easy. Miranda's smile freezes for a heartbeat, programming hiccup, then resumes. Our legal team handles complexities so guests can focus on powder. At Summit Cafe, altitude 10,200 feet, Miranda deposits me with complimentary hot cocoa and returns to greet new arrivals. The patio view is postcard perfection. Snow-plastered pines, sun diamonds on endless white. But I'm staring at infrastructure, maintenance catwalks, access tunnels, gondola towers that double as vertical escape routes. Under this serene surface, Greystone throbs with hidden circuitry. I need a closer look. I slide skis toward Raven Ridge, a sparsely trafficked blue run skirting Evergreen's outer boundary. Halfway down, I cut into the trees, poles sinking in knee-deep powder until the AI. Resort's lull dissolves behind pine trunks. Here the only sounds are my breaths and the dull thump of distant snowcats. I unclip skis, stomp a path to a narrow service road and locate what I came for. A squat cinder block building, half buried in snow, labeled Data Hub 3, authorized personnel only. A single security camera scans the clearing in lazy arcs. I kneel, pretending to adjust bindings, and angle my phone to capture the lens orientation. 30-second blind spots between sweeps. Enough. I sprint to the door on its next pass, twist the handle, locked, then slide a flex cuff shim between latch and strike plate. Click. Inside hums a server rack forest, LEDs blinking emerald like a midnight city. A workstation monitor glows with a Logan prompt, Silvercom logo top left. My heart ramps up. No badge, no IT skill set heroics today. Instead, I plant a pocket transmitter Harper issued. It's a pebble-sized device that piggybacks on any open USB slot, cloning traffic for off-site analysts. I jack it into the rear port of an idle workstation tower, tape it flat against cabling, and whisper a promise to the digital forensics gods. 30 seconds later, I'm back outside, door relocked, tracks brushed away with a pine bough. I'm restrapping boots when a snowmobile's snarl cuts the stillness. A driver in a charcoal parka heads straight for the data hut. Chin scar flashes as he dismounts. Eddie Wells. Adrenaline spikes. I duck behind a stump, lungs burning cold. Wells checks the padlock, frowns, kneels to inspect the snow, my brushed tracks. He straightens slowly, scanning the tree line. For a long moment, his gaze sweeps past my hiding spot, then moves on. He keys a radio. Base, this is Raven. Perimeter clear. Resuming patrol. He swings back onto the snowmobile and roars downslope. Only, when the engine fades, do I realize my fists are clenched so tight my nails cut skin. I wipe blood on my glove, clip into skis, and arc back toward the main run, mind racing. Wells guards the data hubs, of course. Any digital proof tying miles to kickbacks sits on those servers. And now my transmitter is inside, siphoning nuggets of truth. At Base Lodge, Miranda catches me at the rack. Hope you had a stellar session, she chirps. Unforgettable, I answer, and I mean it. I escape to a restroom stall, call Harper. Device planted, Wells on watch. Start packet capture, label Raven Ridge. He exhales an impressed whistle. Copy that. We'll pull wire fraud, bribery, whatever sticks. You safe? For now, I say, staring at my reflection, wind-burned cheeks, eyes too bright. But Wells nearly caught me. He'll know someone's poking around soon. Harper lowers his voice. Then get out clean. Sunsets in 2 hours, and we'll need you alive to testify. I step outside. The mid-afternoon sun has that deceptive, golden tilt, beautiful and dangerous. Guests laugh over spiced cider, oblivious to the war humming beneath their boots. I slide into the SUV, peel away from Evergreen's perfect facade and radio headquarters. Package in transit. Expect fireworks once they realize the fuse is lit. As the resort shrinks in my rearview mirror, I think of Emily. How she must have felt pulling each thread, knowing it led to giants. She didn't flinch. Neither will I. The climb ahead is steep, but mountains always look impossible until you reach the summit and see who's scrambling to hide on the other side. Chapter 8. Perilous Ascent. Dusk settles early in the Rockies, painting the peaks bruised violet. But I'm still inside Evergreen scanning packet logs on my phone. Harper's cyber team confirms the USB beacon is talking. Steady trickle of emails, invoices, and meeting minutes pouring into an off-site vault. Success tastes sharp and electric on my tongue. One last thread. Identify Eddie Wells's command post. Miranda's shift ends at 4, and with practiced warmth, she offers me a VIP sunset ride on Pinnacle Chair, Evergreen's highest lift. Closed to day guests after 3 p.m. She thinks she's gifting me a postcard view. I see opportunity. If Wells patrols the outer perimeter, the summit might be the loneliest place in the resort. Perfect to trace his route, maybe plant a tracker on his snowmobile. I accept with a smile and wander to the deserted base terminal. An operator waves me through, unaware the safety bar he lowers could become a cage. Halfway up the line, the world falls silent save for sprockets clanking and cable humming overhead. Trees recede, wind knifes across my cheeks. Below, fresh corduroy glows lavender under last light. My solitude lasts 3 minutes. At Tower 9, the lift shudders, slows, then stops. A maintenance pause? Hardly. I pivot. The next chair back sways as a solitary skier vaults from the loading deck, landing deftly beside me. Black parka, goggles, chin scar visible beneath a balaclava. Eddie Wells. Evening detective, he calls, voice carrying too easily on the thin air. He slides, closer, boot edges scraping steel. A pistol appears from under his jacket, matte and small, suppressed. I raise gloved palms. Resort hospitality could use work, he laughs once. You touch the servers. That was impolite. He flicks the gun toward my torso. Hand over. Your phone, and the backup drive I know you carry. No point bluffing. I toss the phone into his waiting hand, but my second item, a dummy thumb drive, follows. He pockets both. Now the obvious problem, he says, tapping the safety bar with the muzzle. Loose lips, snow drifts, you're going to slip. Unfortunate. Accident. Cable groans, resumes crawling forward, as if the lift itself obeys him. I calculate distances, 12 meters to the powder below. Survivable if I land right, but he'll fire first. Need a distraction. I breathe slow, recall Alex's maxim, close distance, disrupt balance. I nod toward the horizon. Beautiful, isn't it? Worth killing for? Wells turns instinctively. I ram my elbow into his wrist. The shot muffles against the sky. Bullet. Lost in wind. Gun clatters onto the disappearing chair behind us. His eyes flare. He lunges, fists in my collar, tries to pitch me outward. We grapple, seesawing as the chair creaks, cable swaying like a plucked string. My ribs bruise against the armrest. His knee seeks leverage. I hook my boot behind his ankle, heaving upward. Off balance, he staggers. One hard shove to his sternum. Our gazes lock a final instant. Then gravity claims him. He cartwheels into pale space, arms pinwheeling, vanishing through a halo of powder 40 feet below. The chair jerks onward. My pulse roars in my ears, breath fogging so hard it blinds. I scan for witnesses. None. Only the last blush of sun and the hiss of settling snow where Wells landed. No movement. At Summit Station, I vault from the seat before attendants notice. Ski straight for a disused patrol shack? Yank my spare radio from an emergency kit. Harper, code red. Wells neutralized. Location Tower 10 beneath Pinnacle. Possible fatal fall, but send medics in custody. His reply crackles through static. Copy. Teams inbound. You injured? Shaken, intact. I watch lights bob. Far below, snowcats crawling like fireflies toward the incident. Adrenaline ebbs, leaving a hollow tremor. I retrieve the discarded pistol from the trailing chair, bag it. My phone is gone, along with the dummy drive, thank God. But the real evidence streams safely to Denver, unstoppable. As I ski down the moonlit run, the night feels sharper, edges cleaner. Emily's truth is no longer buried. It's breathing, alive in cables, ready for daylight. And Alex, somewhere in that starlit silence, I hear his familiar chuckle. Nice recovery, partner. I let the sound guide me through the dark, carving deliberate turns toward the valley where justice is finally picking up speed. Chapter 9. High Stakes. The patrol shack on Pinnacle Ridge smelled of gasoline and old wool blankets, but it was the safest place to catch my breath, while rescue crews rappelled to Eddie Wells's crater in the snow below. By the time medics radioed subject critical but breathing, full dark had slammed over the slope and the temperature nosedived. They loaded Wells onto a rigid sled, spine immobilized, wrists zip-tied. 2 vertebrae shattered, 1 lung collapsed. He wouldn't be chasing anyone soon, yet he was still alive enough to talk. Good. Chief Harper rang my backup handset just as I skidded into the operations garage. "We got your packet stream," he barked over engine noise. "Hundreds of emails between Silvercom, Greystone, and an account labeled LM Legacy Trust. Money bounced through Panama, then to a Nevada PAC. Digital forensics says slam dunk." Leaned against a workbench, heart still drumming from the fight. LM, Lucas Miles, funneling bribes to bankroll his presidential bid? "Looks that way," Harper said, breathless with a mix of triumph and dread. "State AG's office has been looped, but they're stalling. Miles's people are already leaning on them. He smells smoke." A mechanic clattered by pushing a diesel heater. We both waited until the rumble faded. Harper lowered his voice. "Wells is inbound to Snowbrook ER under guard. I want you back in town. Now." We'll debrief at the station and decide how to play it. The drive down mountain felt like surfing a frozen river, wipers flinging sparks of ice off the windshield. When I rolled into Snowbrook, the clock read 9:42 p.m. The streets were nearly deserted. Tourist buses had fled after word of an incident at Evergreen. In the marshal's office, Harper met me with 2 mugs of black coffee and a bottle of rye he didn't bother hiding. His desk was buried in printouts, remittance slips, escrow ledgers, meeting itineraries stamped confidential. He tapped a page with a shaking finger. This invoice is the kill order. 50,000 wired to Wells 48 hours before Emily died. Memo line says, consulting, pool retrofit. He snorted. Blood money disguised as facility maintenance. I sipped the rye-laced coffee, warmth chasing the chill from my bones. And Emily's missing journal? Evidence techs swept Wells's hotel cabin, found the cover stuffed in a wood-burning stove. Pages ash, spine melted. He tried to erase her work. Harper's jaw flexed. But he didn't know she'd copied half her notes into emails to herself. Cyber pulled them off the server. My eyes skimmed the files. One message quoted Governor Miles at a 1998 closed-door session. Push the rezoning tonight. Greystone breaks ground next spring, and everyone here gets a piece. There it was. Smoking gun. Arrogance. The room vibrated with sudden ringtone. Harper hit speaker. Captain Marilyn Stone's voice came through, low but fierce. Riley, Wells is lawyered up already. The firm is Miles's personal fixer. They're petitioning to move him to a Denver hospital where, surprise, troopers loyal to Miles handle security. My stomach tightened. He won't survive that transfer. Not with what he knows. Exactly, Stone said. So keep him. In Snowbrook. I've got 2 U.S. Marshals wheels up from Denver. ETA 90 minutes. Hold the fort. We hung up. Harper ran a hand over thinning hair. Miles will throw everything at us now. Courts, press, maybe more hired guns. Then we slam the door first. I paced, boots echoing on linoleum. Emily's photos, server dumps, Wells's confession once he's stable. We have a case, but we still need Miles on tape tying it all together. Harper raised a brow. How? Bait. I thumbed through my contacts, stopped at Mark Chen's name. Emily's friend still has credibility as a grieving student. If he calls Miles's office claiming to possess the original notebook, we'll see how desperate the governor is. He'll send someone, or come himself, to retrieve it. Harper poured another inch of rye into each mug. A sting. Risky. Everything tonight is risky, I said, feeling the liquor's fire steady my hands. But if Miles dispatches a fixer, we flip that fixer. If Miles shows, we arrest him on the spot. Either way, we expose him before he can spin a narrative. Harper exhaled, then nodded once. Decision made. Okay, let's button up the hospital, call Mark, wire the hotel room, and pray your luck holds. 22:55 p.m. Mark Chen answers on the first ring, voice raw but willing. Whatever helps Emily. He agrees to place the call at 0030 from his Frost Guard suite, scripted to mention a backup flash drive from Emily's locker. Harper's text will route the line through a recorder and trace incoming numbers. 20 p.m. We convoy to Pinebrook Medical Center. 2 deputies flank Wells's ICU door. His face is gray under cold fluorescent light, but his eyes track me with lucid hatred. You fall again. Nobody's cushioning the landing, I warn. Talk now, and maybe you see daylight before your hair turns white. His fingers twitch. Maybe he believes me, maybe not. Either way, the sedatives will keep him quiet tonight. 5 a.m. Back at the Frost Guard, Harper's people plant pinhole cameras behind air return grills. Mark rehearses his lines, hands trembling. I press a mini recorder into his palm. Keep this visible when you talk. A little insurance. He swallows hard but nods. Outside the window, thick clouds smother moonlight. Wind rattles the balcony rail. The entire hotel seems to hold a single breath. I duck into the adjoining room, our command post, where monitors glow, audio meters bouncing. Chart 29:50. Mark dials. 3 rings. A receptionist answers. Mark asks for Governor Miles. Hold music. Classical strings mocking the tension. 031.07. A gravelly male voice comes on. Mark delivers the script. I have Emily Carter's real notebook and a flash drive. You're mentioned, prominently. I want to talk in person, tonight, or it goes to the Denver Chronicle. The voice, calm, icy, replies, stay where you are. Someone trustworthy will collect the items within the hour. Call ends. Text trace the number. A secure line registered to the governor's campaign HQ. Harper whistles through his teeth. He bought it. Or he's rolling the dice, I mutter, checking my Glock's magazine. Either way, the night's just starting. We dim lights, monitors set to night vision green. Mark paces in his room, rehearsing a story about storing evidence in the hotel safe. Minutes tick like hammer falls. At 01:04, lobby cameras capture an unmarked SUV nosing up to the porte cochere. 2 men in black step out. No luggage, no ski, passes. One carries a slim aluminum case. They bypass the desk, swipe a master key card, and head for the elevator. My pulse thrums. Positions, I whisper into the radio. Deputies at the far stairwell. Harper beside me. Safety off. Inside the silent hallway, the elevator dings, doors part. The men advance toward Mark's door. 30 feet, 20, 10. One glances at a floor plan on his phone. Professional, not impulsive. I murmur, wait for the passphrase. Mark opens the door, voice loud for our mics. You must be Governor Miles's courier. We're here for the notebook, the taller man says, stepping inside. The door starts to close. Now. Harper and I burst from hiding, weapons raised. Snowbrook Marshal's office. Hands where we can see them. Chaos erupts. The shorter courier lunged for Mark. The taller goes for his jacket. Gun or knife? I fire once into the ceiling for shock value. Plaster rains down. Both freeze, hands up. Deputies cuff them in seconds. We secure the aluminum case. Inside, 50 grand. In vacuum-sealed stacks and a burner phone pre-dialed to Miles's chief of staff. Evidence of hush money delivered in real time. Harper exhales the breath he's held too long. Mark sinks to the floor but manages a broken smile. I kneel beside him. You did it, I whisper. Somewhere downtown, Governor Lucas Miles is sleeping, in satin sheets, dreaming of campaign rallies. He doesn't know his couriers are chained in a Snowbrook holding cell, that his fixer is in ICU under armed guard, or that terabytes of his dirty laundry are ripping across fiber lines to federal prosecutors. But when sun peels over the ridgeline, he will. And I intend to be the one knocking on his door. Chapter 10. The Architect of Deceit. Sunrise crashes over the ridgeline like cymbals, scarlet, gold, furious. I watch it through the marshal's office window while courier number 2 finally cracks and signs an affidavit. The cash drop was arranged by direct order of Governor Lucas Miles. His statement joins Wells's taped confession and the server dump purring on a thumb drive in my pocket. By 7 a.m., the Snowbrook jail is humming. Deputies booking the couriers, federal marshals guarding Wells's ICU room, Harper barking updates. To the Colorado Attorney General, who at last feels the ground shift under his feet. The AG's voice sounds brittle on speakerphone when he admits, "We can't sit on this. I'm issuing a warrant for Miles. Racketeering, bribery, conspiracy to murder. The only question is where to serve it. Miles is due to headline a breakfast. Fundraiser at the Timberline Resort. 20 minutes down valley. Press invited. Donors gathered. Perfect stage. 8:40 a.m. Timberline Grand Ballroom. Crystal chandeliers. Linen-draped tables. The faint clink of forks on quiche. Television cameras line a velvet rope. local anchors rehearse intros about Colorado's rising star. They have no idea how quickly stars can fall. I slip through catering staff with an earpiece under my collar. Harper stands near the side. Doors with two marshals, fingers drumming the warrant packet. A hush ripples across the room. Governor Lucas Miles strides onto the dais. Navy suit, flag pin, smile broad enough to swallow a county. He grips the podium. Friends, Colorado stands at the brink of a new golden age. Governor Miles. My voice cuts the air like a glass drop. Microphones squeal. Heads pivot. I step forward, badge raised. I'm Detective Riley Jones, Snowbrook Marshal's Office. You're under arrest for racketeering, bribery, and the attempted murders of Emily Carter and Detective Alex Parker. For half a second, shock fissures his veneer. Then he gathers himself, leans into the podium mic. This is absurd. Political theater by radical activists. Click. Harper flicks a remote. Projected onto the ballroom's jumbo screen appears Wells's typed confession, signature visible. Another click. Bank ledgers glowing with LM Legacy Trust transfers. Gasps ripple through the donors. Cameras whirl. Miles's jaw knots. Fabrications. He turns to descend the stage, but two marshals block his path. Flashbulbs strobe as cuffs snick around his wrists. The room erupts. Shouts. Reporters spewing questions, donors scrambling for exits. I catch Miles's eye just once before he's escorted out. The rage there is volcanic, but impotent. 15 a.m. Snowbrook Marshal's Office. Miles sits in an interrogation room, his lawyer en route, his political career bleeding out in every news segment airing coast to coast. Harper pours coffee while I phone Emily's parents. Richard Carter answers. I hear Elaine crying softly in the background. It's over, I say. Your daughter's story will be front page by noon. Richard's voice breaks when he thanks me. I hang up and finally allow myself a long breath. Mark Chen and Lisa Nguyen arrive next, dawn pale but triumphant. I hand Mark a printed sheet. Emily's byline atop a composite article our cyber team stitched from her drafts and emails. Mountains for sale. How greed gutted Colorado's last wilderness. It will run in tomorrow's Denver Chronicle. Posthumous, but hers. Tears glass Mark's eyes. He whispers, "She'd want you listed as co-author." I shake my head. She earned every word. 4:10 p.m. Pinebrook Medical Center, ICU. Eddie Wells floats in a morphine haze, chest trussed with tubes. He's agreed to testify in exchange for life in a federal facility far from Miles's reach. I stand at his bedside, say nothing. He tracks me with groggy contempt until I show him the headline on my phone. Governor Miles arrested in massive land bribe scandal. Wells closes his eyes, exhaling what might be relief or surrender. Either suits me. 7:30 p.m. Snowbrook Overlook. Storm clouds bruise the western sky, but for now the valley glows, a last forgiving light on spruce tips and chalet roofs. I park the Bel Air at the overlook where Emily once sketched sunrise scenes, where Alex and I used to trade corny cop jokes on weekend ski trips. I set 2 items on the hood. Emily's teal fountain pen, rescued from evidence lockup, and Alex's photo. Case closed, partner, I tell him. The wind lifts a curl of hair across the glass. In the chrome bumper, I glimpse my reflection, tired, bruised, but upright. I feel Alex's laugh in the pine hush, Emily's resolve in the pen's cool weight. Headlights crest the road, Harper in his battered Jeep. He leans out the window. Denver wants a formal debrief tomorrow. After that, vacation time. I arch a brow. You signing my time off form? Damn right, he says, almost smiling. The mountains can spare you for a week. I pocket the fountain pen, slide into the driver's seat, and fire up the Chevy. As I steer downhill, Snowbrook dwindles in the mirror, no longer pristine snow globe, but a real place that chose to face its shadows. And somewhere beyond the switchbacks lies open road, fresh snow, and whatever comes next. For the first time in months, the thought doesn't scare me. It feels astonishingly like hope. Great work today. Every moment you spend practicing brings you closer to mastering your English listening and speaking skills. Remember, progress comes with patience and consistency. If this story inspired you or helped you in your learning journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Easy English Spark channel for more lessons and stories. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep believing in your growth. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and keep shining.